Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Can you all hear me over there? Hello, can anyone hear me over there?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Chair, right? I can hear you. Hello, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I'm not connecting. Okay, I can barely hear what anyone is saying over there. So I would say that Professor Alabi is there, he will run the panel. And if he's not there,
I'm here. Alabi there.
Okay, if Professor Alabi is there, please run the panel because it's not working for me. I'm disconnecting.
Okay. So what did you say? Say the panel. Actually, share the panel. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our panel on Skits. Our chair is having some connection issues, and he just unilaterally appointed me as chair. So, without any form of preparation or notice. So, how many presenters are here? Okay. We'll just follow what we have on the program, and that means I'm the one who's supposed to start. So I'll give, I think it should take 15 minutes each. 15 minutes each, and then we need some time for questions and answers. Is that good? Actually, I think we are fine. We have 4 papers. 10 minutes. You have the okay. By popular demand, we change it to 10 minutes. Yes, sir. It's very democratic. Yeah, that's fine. We change it to 10 minutes per presenter per paper. Okay, so are we ready? Hello. Yeah, I don't know whether it's ready. Maybe you should present first. His connection is not working. We heard him saying okay, yeah, somebody was there for him. Okay, are you ready? All right, I've just set my timer for 10 minutes for me, and I will set it for same amount of time for each person. My paper is titled Characterization and Social Realism in Mr. Macaroni's Skits. In Mr. Macaroni's Skits are some of the most popular and widely viewed contemporary Nigerian skits on social media, particularly Facebook and YouTube. Most of the episodes gathered thousands of views within a very short time. The skit fame stems from exquisite cinematography, thematic simplicity, socio-cultural and economic contextualization, and socially realistic character portrayal. So what I want to focus on now is how Mr. Macaroni constructs his characters to mirror the society and provide a subtle criticism of the Nigerian elite. Skit making has been an integral part of the theater culture in Nigeria, literally from time immemorial. Since the beginning of traditional theater production, skits became even more popular with the emergence and development of Alarinjo and Alarinjo theater, and more crucially, with technologized contemporary Nollywood revolution. Skits traditionally often started or were acted as opening scenes and as interludes in elaborate productions by renowned theater practitioners like Hubert Ogunde, Jima Aliu, and I worked several of these when I was a little boy. And these skits were also very popular in high schools and elementary schools, especially during the end of the year festivities. What has changed? This is where I'm heading. What has changed that has made skit making so popular in the last 10 to 15 years is the astronomical rise in internet use and the proliferation of smartphones and related devices, especially Apple products like iPhone, iPad, MacBook, and Samsung products and other phones. There's nobody in this room now I can bet something on it that doesn't have a smartphone. So as long as you have a smartphone or a smart device, you can access these skits, and of course you will need to pay obeisance to MTN or Glo or Airtel by way of buying data. and then you are good to go. Added to this is people can now purchase data conveniently on their devices and connect to the internet and watch whatever they want to watch. Added to this is the monetary compensation that skit makers get from social media platforms and from the patrons they advertise for. Some of them advertise homes, some of them advertise cars and so on. So they get paid substantially for these advertisements. Skit makers have taken an very handsome advantage of the internet revolution, the availability of smartphones and the numerous social media apps available for producing and consuming content. These skit makers, who are typically young and fresh university graduates, now produce short skits of typically about 2 to 10 minutes long, some of which they started long when they were even undergraduates. Up till now, postgraduate, they are now doing a lot more of those kinds of devices, skits. Debo Adedayo, who is popularly known as Mr. Macaroni, is the one whose skits I'm concentrating on here. He is a theater arts graduate from Redeemers University, and he details his involvement with skit making and the purpose of the popular YouTube program titled Nollywood in Review, produced and edited by our own Professor Kolawole Olaiya here. He detailed his involvement in this skit making. And he claims that he has been creating skits since he was an undergraduate with Otumba, and then with postgraduate experiences. He's now a full-time producer of those kinds of skits. He became a much more prolific skit maker after his university education. The plot of his skits revolve around the character of Dadiwa that we were talking about in the last panel, who is the typical Nigerian big man, or bourgeois, to use a Marxist term, who is persistently but unsuccessfully trying to manipulate young girls with his resources. There is usually a twist in the plot, because on the verge of being successful, after spending so much money on the girls, he's either caught by his wife, who is momming up, or the woman he usually calls freaky, abandons him for different reasons. So when he's very close to being successful, that's when he loses it all. And through this plot trend, Mr. Macaroni creates socially realistic characters of influential men, business moguls, and politicians exploiting women and the generality of the people. The trend, I claim, is a very subtle criticism of government and elite high-handedness and the exploitation of the mass of our people. Within and between episodes, Mr. Macaroni also advertises his sponsors and their products. So he's able to make money from those kind of advertisements. I wanted to show a couple of examples of his skits, but I'll just speak to one of them. One of my favorites is called Benefit Papa. It's the skit where he meets a woman and he offers to give her money. And I think he gives her some money, and I think 200,000 something. And the woman says, "You gave me that, what do you want me to do with it? Do you want me to give it to my driver to buy fuel for me, or for what?" That if you give him he should give her his own account number, and he sent him a couple of billions. And the woman said, "You call yourself Benefit Papa, a legal company beneficiary here." And the woman now went and opened her car, which was a Rolls Royce. So you know, he wasn't in the same category with Mr. Macaroni. So that's one of the plot twists. Another major successful trend in his skits is the one involving his daughter, Montude. Montude is a bachelor, is a spinster who is looking for a husband and brings in all sorts of men as potential husbands. And one of the most enduring legacy of these kinds of men is that all of them are celebrities. So we know all of them right as soon as they enter. There was a time he brought Jide Kosoko, another time it was Femi Adebayo he brought, another time he brought Portable. So as soon as you see all this, you know that they Nobody knew Obi Cubana until he had that major celebration of his mother's funeral, and he got so many cows and so much cash and all that. A couple of days later, he featured in Mr. Macaroni's Skits. And that popularized him beyond what we knew him before as a very rich business person. So I will just skip the rest and go to my conclusion, which is to suggest that contemporary Professor Oluwatosi Ogunariwo is here. Let's go on to the next.
Yes, it's online.
Okay. Can you hear us? Professor Ogunariwo. Okay, please present your paper.
Not sure. It's not me. It's not me. It's unmuted. Yes, I'm not sure it's around.
Okay, while we are sorting that out, let's go to the next person. Professor Divine Sharif Uchenna Joe. Okay. Are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, please. You can stay where you are.
Okay.
Or if you want to come here, you are welcome to it. Okay.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Like I was introduced, my name is Divine Sharif Uchenna Joe from Nigeria. And I'll be presenting a paper titled Implication Movements of Didactism, Social Media, and the Democratic Process. The study of dramatic speech and political fandom in Nigeria's 2023 election. But to see that I want to declare a no conflict of interest. I belong to no political party. And the study is not sponsored by any political party. So I think technological evolutions give rise to innovations that in turn impact mankind, and this includes politics and the democratic process. It is in this light that the intervention of social media is perceived to have created avenues for development of new approaches to politics and democracy. Nigeria's democracy and electoral process witnessed massive development of social media as a tool for votes and voters mobilization, with P2B acclaimed to be a top beneficiary through the obedient movement. His fans created and distributed numerous dramatic skits and contents through the social media in a bid to secure victory for him at the polls. We have some questions to answer in the course of the study. First, how did the creativity of these skit makers contribute to awareness creation for obedient movements? Secondly, can these skits be regarded as participatory actions in the democratic process? And the last question here is, to what extent did these dramatic skits influence the 2023 presidential election? To the review of literature, we found that the application of social media in human activities is massive and continues to expand daily. This includes campaigns on educational policies in both private and public sectors. Social media has also been applied in social activism, and it has been maximized for social different types. Yes.
It's working.
Social media has also altered how information is recorded and disseminated. It appears to offer those who previously had no voice a voice. Therefore, it has made space for groups of people who share common circumstances, viewpoints, or beliefs to get together as communities, thereby altering traditional definition of community. Traditionally, community has to do with a particular location, but social media has altered that definition, whereby the group of people with the same interest, the same belief, pursuing the same goal, can form a community online. Let's go to the theory. The paper is anchored on fandom and participatory cultures. Fandom explains the family-like relationship which ensues from commitment to the cause of a given subject through the active roles of interest groups. Fans in this case, which are identifiable through familiar and recognizable actions online and in some scenarios offline. Now, these interest groups, according to Bob Woods, metamorphose into a community that it defines as, quote, social grouping of individuals with shared interests joined together through some form of mechanisms of membership. The self-selected organization of a group of fans who both enjoy an extant media object and who create additional content about the extant media object. And the extant media object in this case is Peter Obi. Furthermore, on the theory, Ernest Samuel and Olawole write that the regency theory of fandom links fans with participatory culture. Jackson theorizes that a participatory culture is a setting with relatively low obstacles to artistic expression and civic participation, robust support for producing and disseminating one's creation, and some degree of informal mentorship where the most knowledgeable people teach the less experienced people what they know. Participants in such a culture also feel some sense of interpersonal and social connection with one another and believe their efforts count. Now, in addition, any participatory culture operates according to four main principles. The first one is affiliation. It must belong to a particular group, have a particular interest. The second one is expressiveness. They must find a way to share their interest with others. The third one is corporate problem solving, and then circulation. The method of study is adopted. The study adopted a mixed method approach, content analysis and survey, as well as a review of some literature. Let me go down to the discussion. I would have loved to share, but they're having problem getting the slide. Now, unlike the controversial movement in Kano, some of us know the controversial movement in Kano, the obedience movement tilts towards social media and interaction and national appeal. And it became metamorphosed into an online community. Many people became part of the community, knowingly or unknowingly. And the pool continued to expand as members invested themselves to creating and circulating more content. There's this particular content or dramatic skits created by a comedian known as Koboko. It was shared 77,000 times. And he had 235,000 likes on Facebook, reflecting the rate of acceptance and consequence awareness that such feeds generated for the obedient movement. Then, the 2023 election, notably, as part of the obedience investment in the object of the fandom, they engage in social media mobilization, use of social media to vote mobilization and voter registration. One of the skits showed they were making a dramatic skits that they had to go out to talk to young people, encouraging them to vote, encouraging them to avoid the voter apathy. And if you look at the report on the election by INEC, you will find that the distribution of registered voters by age for the 2023 general election speaks to this fact that you have youth between 18 years and 34 years had the highest number of registered voters. That's 39.65% of registered voters. It means that as a result of their investment in the media of the PPD, the movement was trying to generate response to voter registration for youths. In as much as other candidates had social media as a tool for vote mobilization, on this study we discovered that the biggest movement played a pivotal role in youth response to vote registration for voters registration in Nigeria in the last election. Also, in the creation of content included imitation of a politician's behavior or reenactment of events surrounding the political space where they are domiciled. It was evident in the obedient movement as a way of political participation, speaking to the theory of participatory cultures. In fact, they performed the involvement. One of the contents, you see someone creating a song in the market using P2B, Tuningu, and people to make sales and generate, and generate customers in the course of advertising the schools in an environment that people will have a lot of followership. Let me conclude by saying this. Before the emergence of the student movement, political followership and participation was measured on attendance to political rallies. Against this norm, social media provided an unhindered avenue for both mobilization, voter education, campaign, and also election monitoring. Although social media has always been part of Nigerian elections, this was the first time it was driven entirely by citizens rather than paid influencers. Nigeria's political landscape looked to have been successfully recognized, been reorganized around individuals, in the sense that instead of being driven by political parties, the political landscape appeared to have been reorganized around individuals rather than the framework of national politics in the country, thereby creating a model that should be adopted and sustained by other political movements in future elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Divine Sherif Uchennajo. We go on to Professor Gift Suberu. Is she here? Yes, thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
We have 10 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gift Suberu. So I'll be talking on the commodification and objectification of the female body. Please, can you hear me? So how many of you are on social media? I believe everyone here is on social media. And I believe everyone knows what skit making and skits is all about. So skit making started around 2010 with creators like AY Comedy, Craze Clown, House of Ajebo, just to mention a few. They were posting on YouTube, and with this younger generation, they started posting on Instagram, TikTok, and other social media platforms. So social content making became very big in 2020 during the COVID-19 lockdown. So with so many people stuck at home, they needed to laugh, and some people started making content. So what just started with just being bored is now a very big industry. So YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and other social media platforms are shaping culture faster than TV, radio, and newspaper ever did. But the thing is, what are we really learning from what we are watching? I know most of you will say it's just comedy, but the truth is, it's not just comedy. So we need to learn what is behind the two big words behind this skit we are watching. That is commodification and objectification. What is objectification? Objectification means reducing someone to just an object, which means a woman is only valuable for just her body or her beauty. Now, what is commodification? Commodification means when you start using that body to get things like likes, views, and money. So now we need to talk about skit culture in Nigeria. So content creation in Nigeria is very big. We have Sabinus, we have Brain Jota, we have Lai Wasabi, Taoma, Kiki, Bimbo, just to mention a few. Nigerian skit makers are going global. I'm not going to lie. People are paying bills, building houses, and buying cars from just content. But the thing is, when you look closely at the roles women play in this content, you will notice that there is a pattern. It's either she is a so-called baddie trying to use her body to get money from a sugar daddy, or she's an overdramatic girlfriend, or she's a troublemaker. And sometimes she's just there to just get attention, get the viewers' attention. Obviously, it's her body. And if they don't act this way, people won't watch it. people would watch this content. Why? Because the industry has taught content creators the best way to go viral is to use a woman's body. In many of these videos, women are not even part of the story. They are just there for decoration. So now let's look at how these stories are told. That's the tricks that are used in making this skit. One, we have cross-dressing. You will see a man put on a wig, makeup, fake hips, and give himself a name. Instead of showing a real woman, he shows the opposite. He shouts, misbehave anyhow, and we laugh. Then we have the costume. Most women in this skit are rarely dressed. Even when she is going to the office in that skit, you will see her showing cleavage. Why? Because that's what gets views. Then we have the movement. If she bends down, the camera zooms in. And when she walks, they add background music. Many skit makers rely on playful yet suggestive languages that objectifies women and draws attention to their body. 4, we have the algorithm. Videos with more body exposure get attention. So creators copy what works. It's not about creativity anymore. It's just strategy. And sadly, the woman's body is the tool. Then, this next one. When we keep watching skits that show women as jokes, we stop taking women seriously. And that's where the real damages begins. These skits are not just jokes. They are shaping how young people think. Being exposed to a particular content can shape how you view things. Self-objectification. The thing is, some women also willingly play these roles because they want to blow, because they want to go viral, they want to sing. And also, don't get me wrong, these creators also get paid for unethical content. But just because it is working doesn't mean it is right. Next, please. We can laugh, we can go viral, but let's stop doing it at the expense of women's dignity. We don't have to cancel skits, and we don't have to stop laughing. All we have to do is start asking, what are we really laughing at? So, content creators, please look at the stories you are telling. You have the power. Your skits can entertain. Your skits can entertain and also educate. You can be funny and still be respectful. And we reviewers, we also need to change. Don't only engage with videos that sexualize women. Watch the ones that uplift them too. And to everyone here, let's make space for more honest, diverse, and respectful storytelling culture. Because women are not props, they are not jokes, they are not background characters. They are the main characters too. Thank you.
The next presenter will be the first presentation, Professor Moses Oni and Anthony Ada. And if
can I give this a shot?
Right? So that means it's going to get 5 minutes and you're going to get 5 minutes. Okay. Anyway.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? Can I give this a shot? Okay. I'll start. Okay, I'll start and be brief. Thank you, Tayo, for taking this for taking the work for me. I really appreciate that. My video is not turned on because I'm trying to limit any impedance that is there. So all day today we've been talking skits. I want to begin by saying that at the end of our conversation, I think we should have the opportunity to discuss whether the object of our research and analysis are actually skits or they are sketches, because there is a slight distinction between the two forms. In contemporary Nigeria, I'm going to dive into our presentation. In contemporary Nigeria, comedy has evolved beyond mere entertainment to become a powerful tool for social commentary and political critique. Among the rising voices in the production space is Isoko Ediri Stanley, popularly known as Zadi Soko, a Nigerian content creator whose skits have gained popularity on social media platforms. Soko TV has about 300,000 following on YouTube, over 1 million on TikTok, and over 500. His content, often rendered in parodic imitation of political discourse, mirrors the daily realities, frustrations, and ironies of Nigerian society, particularly in relation to its social-political landscape. Of course, Nigeria's socio-political environment is marked by recurring themes such as corruption, poor governance, economic instability, insecurity, and social inequality. Traditional media have often struggled to adequately reflect or challenge these issues due to censorship, ownership bias, or political pressures and market forces. Consequently, talented Nigerians have turned to digital platforms for unfiltered expression and critique. Skits and sketches, especially those disseminated through social media, have emerged as easily accessible yet influential spaces where creators like Zadi Soko dissect societal issues using humor, satire, irony, and in our specific case, register mimicry. In these videos, the use of familiar characters, a married politician and his side chicks, and relatable scenarios enable audiences to connect with underlying messages, creating a shared space for reflection and sometimes resistance. Through analysis of these videos, our research aims to uncover the ways in which humor is used as a mirror to a society grappling with economic stress, political corruption, and complex social-cultural challenges. The study also considers the broader role of digital media in reshaping civic engagement and public awareness in contemporary Nigeria. Our presentation is theoretically framed by the works of Achille Mbembe, and we draw on his idea of necropolitics to understand depictions of state-induced suffering and disposability, Antonio Gramsci's hegemony to identify how dominant ideologies are reinforced, and Pierre Bourdieu's masculine domination to decode gender roles, class-based oppression, and symbolic violence. These theoretical viewpoints aid us to grasp how seemingly humorous or exaggerated comedic elements reflect deeper social, cultural, and political truths. They help to articulate how Zadi Soko's parodic imitation of political discourse can be understood as a complex, layered critique of Nigerian society. We will return to them after the results and discussions.
All right,
My colleague, Dr. Annie, will take over.
Okay, all right, I will take it up from here. Thank you very much, sir. All right, the methodology we used in this study is qualitative approach. And the qualitative is the qualitative content analysis and semiotic analysis. Now, we grouped the two of them under what we call the multimodal discourse analysis. Now, the content analysis aspect identified recurring themes, character, and socio-political issues, while the semiotic analysis was used to decode symbolic and cultural meanings embedded in visual and verbal expressions. Now, to define this, we looked at the top 10 most viewed, go to define this. We looked at the top 10 most viewed content tapes of Zadi. And from what you can see in that table, we have the top 10 most viewed tapes. But there was something unique about these tapes. Now, there was this technique employed by Zadi to capture the ills by politicians. Now, he used the telephone technique. Here you will be sitting with the wife and calling the side chick. Now, some of those words that you will see, go to the next slide. The next one. Now, you will see some of the words he used in one of the videos. Can we play that short video? That one I sent to you. Let us see practically how we use that technique to be able to just, while he's in the wife and talking with the side chick, he's using words that the wife will think he's talking to a politician while he was okay. Now, this is one of the side chick calling. He said he's honorable. Continue. Said it's suspected electoral malpractice. Now the psychiatrist said she's pregnant. So last time you visited the ward. Now, visiting the ward means visiting her. Now she's saying that the pregnancy belongs to Daddy. Now Daddy now said, both shall be recounted. Now, he's using a term that the wife thinks he's talking about political issues. But he knows what he's so both recounting means that we're going to do a pregnancy test to know if you're really pregnant. And the woman says she will now send the pregnancy test to him. Now there's another one again. This is the second one. Now he's with the side chick. Now this is the wife calling this time around. Now there is also an interplay of words. So he keeps using terms that the wife will think is talking. Okay. Now the affair with the side chick is the V. Now, the first round means first round of sex. And the wife will now say, go to the fourth and fifth round. The wife thought he was talking about what did he talking about having sex with the side chick. All right, so I think we can continue from here. Now, words like, now go to the next slide. Now, words like constituency DC means visiting the side chick. Words like constituency matters, talking about side chick matters. Electoral malpractice, talking about cheating among side chick. Then rigging, you can stop the video. Let's not take my time, please. All right. Now, the masses actually refers to the wife. Anytime you hear masses, it refers to the wife. And we always say the masses are with us, meaning the wife is. So the wife didn't know that he's talking about her. So, but to the side chick, he's telling the side chick the masses are with us. Then we have political secretary, meaning his office. Then we have free and fair election, meaning sexual affairs, the side chick. Then party agent means other side chick. Now, fully elected into office means fully married by a side chick. Then he talked about ballot box is the body of the side chick. Then casting votes means having sex. So all of these words, he keeps using them from time to time. Now, what's the implication of this? Now, if we look at the from our findings, we notice that this has political implications. It also has social implications as well as other implications. Now, from the interpretation. All right, so let me just go to the conclusion.
Give you 1 more minute.
All right. Now, this study concludes that there is a disconnect between political language and political practice, particularly through a semiotic analysis of Zanissoko's state. Foundationally, also foundational democratic signifiers such as power to the people. We keep using power to the people individual. Now, referring to the advantages they have in the side chick, why the white didn't understand. Then, furthermore, political communication has been co-opted not to reflect governance, but public accountability or public accountability, but to mask private misconduct, particularly involving exploitation of the masses. Now, part of our recommendation is that we need to establish and enforce strict codes of conduct for public officials. Political institutions and civil society must work to restore the integrity of the democratic system. And there is need to recognize the role of satire and artistic critique in exposing political decay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have only one more presentation, and this is supposed to be from Professor Oluwatosin Ogunaribo. Is he online?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Professor Ogunaribo. You have 10 minutes for your presentation. Please go ahead. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm with you, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay.
Time is for 10 minutes. One of our technicians is saying you might be using 2 devices. Can you reduce it to 1? Please. Mute 1 or give it to Zaddy.
Prof, are you with us?
I'm with you, sir.
Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. The title of my paper is
That's I think she's. Can you please speak louder so that we can hear you clearly?
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. The title of my paper is Resilience in the Face of National Challenges, an examination of Nigerian youth's engagement with social media skits. Look at I want to quickly look at Nigeria has been battling instability. Example, political instability, economic hardship, unemployment, insecurity, and inflation. And these problems have become part of, I should say, our identity as Nigerians. Everyone in Nigeria will say Nigeria is hard. It's true. Would say that. However, the youths feel it the most. They feel this the most. And in the midst of this chaos, the youths turn to what they know best to do. And that is, they turn to creativity, they turn to humor and digital expression. In the year 2024, Nigeria ranks 6th in the 2024 World Mental Health Report, higher than UK and US. And why? Why is this? It is probably probably because we still find time to survive, we still find time to make humor out of things, we still find time to glow, especially online. So Nigerian youths have found a way to go around what we term as these hardships, and they have found a way to survive. The statement of the problem is that one of the things that we note in the statement of the research problem is that economic hardship has driven many Nigerian youths to discover their hidden talents. Rise in internet skits and memes has been a tool for survival and expression, especially among young people. Skits now reflect real life challenges, but in creative and funny and relatable ways. Also, these skits and memes, they often are in our timelines. They are not just funny, but people's reactions to it are one of the mechanisms for young people to cope with these issues that we encounter, that we face in Nigeria. The objective of the study, number one, is to investigate how youths engage with skits and memes on social media. And the second objective is to identify themes in the content, in this social media content, that reflect resilience. And the research question is also there vis-a-vis the research objectives. And the theories for this study is social learning theory and uses and gratification theory. Albert Bandura's social learning theory and the uses and gratification theory. Now, how does these two theories relate to the study? The social learning theory says that people imitate what they see, especially when those things work for them. So as it relates to this study, in skits and memes, youths see how others joke about poverty, they joke through pain, and they copy not just the humor, but the mindset. So the social learning theory explains how behavior is learned through observation. When youths see others cope with national hardship by laughing, joking, and finding creative escape routes, they learn these same survival strategies. So it's not just about entertainment for them, it has become a behavioral modeling. Then the uses and gratification theory also says that people talks about why people use the media. So in this case, Nigerian youths, what are they really looking for in this meme? They are using the media to escape from pressure. They use it to have a belonging that we are in this together. They use it as a source of information and commentary on reality, and they use it also as a form of support or indirect therapy. Now, this role of social media in all of this is not just as a form of distraction, but it's also a digital shelter. It's a place to learn, vent, and connect. It also builds online community around the struggles that we share as young people, and it also turns trauma into trending contents. Resilience is a process of adapting to difficult experiences, according to the American Psychological Association. In Nigeria, our adapting looks like it comes in form of skits and memes, and we laugh in the midst of pain. We often think of resilience as a quiet strength, but in Nigeria, resilience actually wears a costume and it holds a form. This definition fits exactly what youth are doing when they turn challenges into content. They are not just giving up, they are reframing the pain. There are some of the examples of the memes and which people commented about. One of the memes is where somebody posted online, he said, "Talk to me with respect because I just bought one bag of rice." it means that if it's saying that if that person can afford a bag of rice, then that person deserves respect. Another one also says that if you see 5K now, if I see 5K now, I will go offline for 6 months for security reasons, meaning that 5K has bestowed on that person a status of a rich person in this kind of economy. Then another one also said African boyfriends are like African presidents. The next is worse. So there are some of the skits that people related with online and they commented about. Then some skit makers were also looked into. For example, Lai Wasabi, Goroso Ekiti, and some of their skits. There was a particular skit where Lai Wasabi said, Naira cannot be falling, and you people will be falling in love. He was making a joke out of the cost of living and relationships. Goroso Ekiti also made another video where about hopelessness of our income versus our expenditure. In that video, he said a bag of rice is now 85,000 naira, while the salary is 35,000 naira. He said, when will he not run away? So these skits generally generate millions of views and thousands of comments. The comment section of those skits show relatability and emotional resonance. Then youth use those platforms also to laugh, reflect, and survive together. To conclude, skits and memes have become the modern day resilience tool for young people. Nigerian youth now turn pain into comedy and commentary. And the social media offers that form of escape and solidarity for the young people. Recognizing this creativity can guide policy, education, and youth empowerment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to all the presenters. Now we have time for questions and answers and comments. Yeah. Let's start with you. And then we take your question or comment, and then we go to you. And then you are number 4 and number 5. We take those 5 questions or comments, and then we'll try to address them first.
My name is Bill from I want to highly commend the presenters for this wonderful presentation segment. I have this for Skits. Okay, thank you. We started by okay. You said that Skits started to 2010. Was it around 2010? That's an escape. And then you need to be factual and exact. Because what about a night of 1,000 laughter? Okay, that started 10 years before you cited. Where we have these are drunk, basket mounts, and everybody get a chance to respond. Everybody, of course, is familiar with the terrain of the night of 1,000 laughter. Which of course is the make of the comedy skits. So when you talk about comedy, it will not refer to the night of 1,000 laughter. That is that. Also, I asked, who are your audience? Okay, and the reason for that is this. I said, engage your audience in your paper in such a way that we don't sound as a sermonist with the use of the pronoun you skit makers, we audience. So the use of the pronoun you, we may portray inconsistency. You get it. So that's that for Kids Z. And another one is Moses Andy. Am I right? I have this to say constructively anyway. I said, what if he was really telling lies? I mean, the daddy. Now, look at that. I said, what if he was really telling lies? Because in the video played, it seems that the side chick was not following the conversation. Okay. Yes. So I agree with what your paper is theorizing. So I think, in my own thinking anyway, there should be a mutual agreement in the conversation with the side and the zaddy more than to the wife. For instance, if the side was responding positively or cooperating, okay, what the multimodal theory that you are using, I'm thinking using Christian Matthiasm. I don't know, maybe you are aware of the Christian Matthiasm multimodal theory. Now, I'm looking at this synergy. If Zaddy and the side chick understand themselves very well, they can relate well with those metaphorical statements. Okay, go, which is a mnemonic for no private parts. You get it now. And if the lady is responding positively, the communication can go unbiased, so that we will not be thinking what they are not thinking. You get it now. And the wife will be completely lost from the total conversation. You will still achieve the same thing, because the conversation will still be between Zaddy and the side chick, and the wife a sponge. You get it now. Okay. But it looks like, in conclusion, it looks like it is only Zaddy that is understanding himself. Out of 3 conversants, out of 3 people in that discussion, only Zaddy knows what he's saying. You, the 4th person, you are the one now analyzing outside the mind of Zaddy. So you need to take 2:3 instead of 1:3. Thank you.
Let's make the comments and questions as brief as possible, please. Thank you. You can go around. Which number 2? Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I don't know whether choices of Western side chick and some other ones for themselves, whether they're common or they need to be using the formal sense, and just say that, as some would say, side chick. I don't know whether you need to do that in the right sense.
You are the 3rd one.
Third question.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Beth.
Can
You
you
have
speak
a
up a little bit,
question
please?
for Madam Geek. When you said, I don't know what products you said as one of the. So when you said you admonished skit makers at the end of your presentation, and I think it's not only skit makers you need to admonish. The females that the skit makers are objectifying and modifying their body, they were not tracked videos. These are things that happen in our society that they are portraying. This actually happens. Women themselves objectify their body. So you can't blame skit makers for making money out of it. So you actually also need to acknowledge the women too. But that is if they think they are objectifying their body. These things are subjective. What you feel is objectifying. Maybe something like it feels empowerment for the lady. Something like that. So these are subjective. Maybe
Yes, brother.
It's
next, and then you are next.
Okay, I have about depends on 3 I'm recording the suggestions on the I talk about actually the consideration of what you were pointing out. We talk about good and bad of the education, and I know one thing is having what they call the interest sentiment, actually deciding what is good or bad. Then, if you do a study of the effect of this objectification on the attitude of men, whether it makes them now to treat the female that are objectified, I mean, that will have a case, be a case to follow up. But if it is based on your religious sentiment about moral, social body parts, I mean, I think that's really, everybody will agree with you that it's a bad thing for people to treat their body parts whatever. I don't know whether you have got that. All right. Then for the person I talked about that, I feel that Well, then the most study all about is the kind of very intelligent use of satire. I mean, I feel that it's the case of mischievous husband's way of escaping. Well, she may be using political terminologies that works perfectly for that kind of discussion. But somebody else can look at another thing that will use another professional terminologies. I can still serve the same purpose. So I'm not really sure that the talk is on critiquing the political class, even though coincidentally, because of the nature of our politics here, some of those things work. But then can use another profession if you understand the terminology that are still. But the major thing is that not like the cheating husband being able to deceive the wife perfectly through the plan.
Thank you.
Sorry. Then in this your case, I observed that the majority of the ministry of social media you are talking about, we're not even registered voters. So I don't know whether you have made a study of how far the noise social media actually affected the voting acts or whatever I mean the source of those actually. Because there were so much noise that eventually it's like it's not translated to the actual sense of whatever.
Okay. Okay, sir. Very quickly, I think all the papers presented are very topic, especially in relation to the panel theme. I just want to comment on number one, Dr. Jude, sorry, to Dr. Joe. I'm looking at the paper as being a bit wild. Looking at the background you gave, I was just looking at almost something like a master's dissertation. Because it's broad, kind of. Because I was looking at the way I understood your paper, I saw the use of skits as an example of the organic followership, using P2B in focus. It could be any other politician, not just P2B. So if you had more of the skits, since it is just a paper, unless it is skewed from maybe a PhD thesis or something like that, that's what I feel, because it's very robust. Yeah, very robust. That's what I feel. For Professor Gift, that's what the chairman said.
I confirm that on you.
I want to encourage you. I don't want you to be discouraged by the way they responded to your paper. I think you have valid arguments. It's just a matter of presentational language you use in presenting it. You have a stand. Whether your stand is based on really personal religious belief or social stand, you have a stand to argue in your paper. We understand it, just that the terminologies might not be best, for presentational purpose. That's my own. And the people that presented on Zadi, I want to respond to the person that talked about you talking about one character and using the other. Skit is just like a play, a film, communicating to the audience, to viewers. Now, if people view that skit and they understand the satire behind what the man is saying, whether this character is responding to what you say, because it's a communication, and if you throw and I catch, that means I understood what you're trying to say. So it's not the researcher that we go and redirect or recast or readjust what we see. They are analyzing as researchers what we see. But I think, again, if the many theories I saw there is meant for this paper, that means the paper will have another robust body where maybe get up to 50, 70 pages, unless we are dumping theories on papers and just we dump them there and understand. Let me respond. Actually, some people give brief responses. Yeah, some of them are happy. Somebody has responded to some of them. Now, like I said, that is representing.
One house.
That is representing licentious politicians, those who cheat on their wives and who do a lot of immoral things, corrupt things. So he is actually mirroring the society, right? That's it. And if you notice very well, he uses the language that is familiar with them. But these languages are used, those words are used to deceive the masses. And like each of those characters represents something in politics. That represents the politician, the one represents the masses, which elected that into office. The office was elected into the marriage. I married you, so you should take care of it. So that is the politician that was elected by the masses. So you should be able to serve the masses, not the side chick. Now the side chick is an intruder. So anytime the intruder comes, the masses actually is at the receiving end. The politicians do a lot of things, but we don't know, they don't explain to us what they do. So they use language, they can even come physically and commission. There was a politician that commissioned a borehole in the north. Not knowing that there was no borehole. You only put a tank somewhere, connected it to a place, and just put the water. People saw the water, they were happy, they did the video. And after 1 week, the water dried. So these are the masses have been at the receiving end. So that's what you see in those between the white. Then talking about the theories, there was no time. Each of the theories has something it addresses in the script. Like the actually member, we're talking about macro politics, talking about how government exercise power, and at the expense of the parties. They have no time, not that we didn't have time to.
All right, let's take the other responses. This it?
Okay. Well, I want to answer, sorry. Okay. You said Night of the Thousand Lamps. I think Night of the Thousand Lamps is more like a stage performance, not comedy. So I based my research on digital content, not, it was more of like a stage performance.
I think the disconnect from you. There were skits, and now saying Night of a Thousand Lives. Night of a Thousand Lives show is not a skit.
Yeah. Okay, so it was from here. Okay. You had a response.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
In terms of correlating the noise to the votes.
Okay.
Okay. We didn't go to that, and the focus was to see how it impacted on youth mobilization for election. So we had a survey, and 56.9% of the respondents affirmed that they didn't vote in the previous election. But as a result of the mobilization via social media by the leader movement, we were interested to register and participate.
Yes, Professor Adam. Professor Adam.
Yes, I'm here, but I can't hear your questions.
We can hear you. You wanted to say something.
No, I was just asking a question as someone had made a comment about a Night of 1,000 Laughs, and I asked a question, what is the theme of A Night of 1,000 Laughs? Because I see it more as a collection of skits. Think of A Night of 1,000 Lives and compare it to the American Saturday Night Live. You will see that Saturday Night Lives actually has a theme on which it revolves, whereas A Night of 1,000 Laughs is a series of laughs. So it's a series of skits.
All right, let's take 2 or 3 more questions, and then we round it off. We take your question there. We take your question as well, and those are. Okay, so we take 1, 2, 3. Is that it? Okay, let's take the 3 in that order, please.
Thank you very much to all the presenters.
But let's make it brief.
Enjoyed your presentations. Yes, my concern is about media flows.
I listened to the presenter talk about how Nollywood and the COVID period sort of gave boost to the speed making, even though it had been impacted before. So my question of interest is, so how has this form impacted Nollywood in return? What kinds of changes or shifts are we seeing from the skits makers back into Nollywood sort of representation, etc.? Thank you.
Okay.
So my comment has been a recurring debate.
Okay.
What is the difference between nudity as an art form and nakedness?
Okay.
Because
Nudity as an art form.
as an art form.
Versus nakedness.
Okay. Again, if you say demoralizing or trying to impose on artists the moral burden, I think that argument has always occurred that is it the responsibility of artists to be moralists? Is it their responsibility? That's one question. I want to also react to his response to you, asking you how the skits influence P2P's vote. P2P got 5 point something million, 6 or 6 point something. And if I don't know what other response, or maybe you are looking for another influence with somebody got 5 point something vote. I think it's the influence has already been established by the results announced by INEC. Thank you.
Okay, we have the last question.
Sorry,
Oh yeah, yes. We take yours and then you'll be the last one.
Okay, so it's not a question, just wanted to make a comment, particularly regarding the issue of censorship.
Okay.
There is no censorship to a very large extent in social media. So producers of content are able to get away with a whole lot of things, right? And much of what you would consider, for the lack of a better expression, the vices that you find on television or other media have been upgraded because there is democratization of access to sharing content. So anybody can share anything without much of repercussion. So I say that to say that the access and the democratization of access has made a lot of content makers go overboard in expressing themselves, particularly when economic gain is at stake. Thank you.
Thank you. I think one of my thoughts have been said by the last speaker, but I would say that when you conducting research such like this, you should try as much as possible, detach yourself from the emotional body, the cultural, religious that you may want to put on yourself. And for a study like this, I don't know what's very this. I know there are feminist perspectives. I know there's the gays. I know a lot of theories that you can use to support it. And so these are the things you have to look at. And while you are saying that women are being we have Cora Obidi who was almost nude dancing. And so, that is her. And that's how she even was almost naked. And so what do you say to that? And so in the research of this, I think you need her to go out and talk to people, And so in that way, even though your emotions will come, it can be balanced. And you don't put that much on you.
We'll let you react. We'll let you panelists react before we go to the ma'am. You want to react?
30 seconds.
Let them respond first, please. Do you want to respond to any of the questions?
Any other questions?
Okay.
Following what Madam just said now, there is a media theory that has to do with gender. I have forgotten the name of it, search for it. That, that's why that's the reason why even people that advertise good, they want to use women instead of men. So, I'm just suggesting.
Shasha, take your quickly. What about skits? Not to be addressed here. Take away. Skits that are not featuring real characters. We are now in an era where skits are featuring AI cloning characters. Talking about B103 that just came out, I think last week. AI skits. So what about that? So we should be reasoning along that side.
As we round up today, I want to draw your attention to one particular thing about dating of skits. We need to differentiate between these digital skits and those that have always been there before we were born. So if you are putting a date on it, let's say clearly that we are talking about digital skits, the ones that came with the popularization of internet technology. All right, on that note, we'll... Yes?
Actually, I just want to see point something out about what he said. P2B got 16 years is not really the point. In research, there are so many variables. There are so many variables.
Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.